So hey everybody, what's going on? It's your girl Sis-Lo here for a brief second. Alright y'all, come on. Hold on. Let me turn it around. You hear, pause that in the background. So I'm only here for a couple seconds, y'all. I wanna switch this because I got it in landscape and I don't want it to be that way. So listen, I'm only here for a few minutes, but I want to rush something across you guys, okay? So I know you guys have been, in my last few lives, I've been talking about this carbonation movement with Eligio, the Christ. And if you have not caught my last few videos, please catch up on this. This is something that's really, really very important, okay? This young man is about 38, 39 years old. And he's leading a cult. And this is a modern day cult, y'all. And he's calling himself the Creator, the Christ. And what he's doing is he's recruiting young people to join him in the jungle, out in nature, to become one with nature, and also to become a part of this Christ conscious movement, which is basically identifying him as Christ, the Creator, and themselves are as little mini Christs. He changes their names from their Babylonian name. He takes them away from their families. He manipulates them, has them to gather all or sell all of their earthly belongings except for the money, of course. And they have to pay money and go through this initiation type of thing. So now he has a new recruit. And she's a very beautiful young lady. But these are just some of the things that I took note of that I wanted to mention that make the whole movement questionable. And for anybody that might be considering joining this carbonation movement, these are things that I want you to really think about. Or anybody that's in this movement, you think about these things. Not just about how this man is making you feel as far as sexually or whatever the case may be, because that is a great deal of it. Not so much as how he makes you feel about yourself, because you can feel about that about yourself without leaving and isolating your family and going out into the jungle, okay? So think of these things, okay? There's a few things that what makes carbonation and Eligio obviously questionable. Number one, the entire concept of his polygamous lifestyle. Because what they are doing is not polygamy, it's an orgy. This is not one man taking of several women to be his wife or wives and having one direct wife or one whatever. He is going back and forth and trading wives with the other soldiers that or his other male followers. For instance, there are young women that have been a part of this movement, and these ladies have slept with this man, and in most cases they come there for him. And when they come there for him, and he burns their brain with all of this brainwashing material that he uses. And he programs them into thinking that he is the God, the Christ, the Creator. Once he lays down with them, in many cases, it's not just him laying down with them, but it's him and his other wives laying down with her. And it's not them having an individual one-on-one contact. It's him having contact with her and these other wives, okay, at the same time in most cases. The other thing is, he then passes them along to another. Now, there was one young lady that they talked about. I don't want to mention her name. You can watch the video. But this one lady, young lady, went over at the age of 24 and she was a virgin. This man bragged about how she had went through with two other soldiers, to the least, two other soldiers, and they could not break her virginity because he talked about the tightness of her private areas and how they couldn't penetrate her. And they are on camera and they're all talking about it so giddy and plainly that it's like it's nothing. And they bragged about how they passed her along. And then he's talked about how bragged about, I knew I was the one that could break her in. So I did it. And then his wife chimed in and said, yes, we broke her virginity. Now, where is the God in this? Now, where is the creator in this? Where, what is the godly manifestation in any of this? I don't get it. The other thing, and that's just a part of it. The other thing is this false sense of authority. And this false sense of submission. Because in some senses, he is the authoritarian. But in most of his videos, when he's getting ready to roast somebody or go in on somebody, he has his followers all around him. And he often ranting and raving into the camera, and then he turns back to them for validation. God don't need no validation. The creator don't need no backup. I want to try to interrupt mine. Ha! The devil is a lie. Get it out anyway, bruh. Okay? So, I'm not sure why my stream keeps getting interrupted, but it is. But it's okay, because I'm still going to say what I have to say. I don't understand why my stream keep all of a sudden getting interrupted. There's no interruption in the internet or anything. I'm being still. I'm in a still spot. The devil is a lie. I'm still going to say what I have to say. Okay? Now, like I said, this false sense of authority, God don't need no backup. He does not need for anybody to stand behind him and back up every word that he says. He does not need anybody to conspire along with him for anything. He's the creator of all things, the giver of all life. Okay? The other thing is that the women are supposed to be so submissive. But in so many times, he says that his wife, Eliana, really pretty much runs things because he's afraid of losing her. Because he's lost so many. What kind of God is talking about so he's scared of losing of a woman? I don't get this. What kind of God talks about he's afraid of a woman leaving him? I don't get that. What kind of God talks about his emotional tribulations and the things that he experiences and all this, that, and the other. Talks about his open sexual relationships and uses the profanity that he uses and speaks the way he speaks. See, the thing of it is it has a form of spiritualness because it only have a form of godliness, a spiritualness, a spirituality or what have you, but denying the power thereof. Okay? And you are condemning yourself to a devil's hell for real. And I have a question. If you are the creator, when and how did you create this existence? How did this world come to be? What did you do? What did you use to bring this world to pass? Tell me that. Answer me that. Riddle me that. How did you bring this existence to be? How did you make mankind? How did you make flowers? How did you make air? How did you make earth? How did you bring the waters to be? How did you do any of those things? And guess what? How are you using the Holy Bible or the Holy Writ as your backup if you are the creator? Create your own. Why didn't you create your own? And then the other thing is, if how can you how this keeps interrupting like this? It's so funny. Okay. But as I said before, Babylon is such a bad place. You created it. According to you. You created it. Why are you running for something you created? Create it again or destroy it and make it better. Especially if you're walking amongst it. If you are the creator, create it again. Why are you having to leave it to become one with nature? Make it all nature. If that's the case, if you created it. The other thing is, if you are the Christ, and as Isaiah 53:5 says that you were wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities, the chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we were healed. Why haven't you healed yourself from HIV and herpes? Why haven't you healed yourself? Why are you losing weight? Why are you ashed up and broken out and rashed out? Why won't you allow the people in your compound to have adequate medical attention? Why are they dying? If you said you're not going to die and they become a part of you and your Christ consciousness, why did Mama Dia die? While she was over there with you? Answer this. And y'all think about this before you follow up and gather up everything you have and deny your family and all that. Quit your jobs and quit schooling and give up everything to go over into the midst of the jungle to follow this fool. That's what he is. Why do you contradict yourself? Because if you are the Christ, and this is your holy word that was created, you live in everything that contradicts the word. Why? I have a really big problem with you. I have a really big problem with you misleading people's children. I have a really big problem with you being a liar and a deceiver. You don't have to use Christ. The followers of Eligios is well enough. The Eligiosians or whatever. Carbonation is well enough. But you don't have to put God in it. That's when you condemn yourself. Well, it's a false God anyway. And you're doomed to hell for misleading people, period. But to be a blasphemer and use the name of Christ, you're really wrong. You're saying that you are fearful of Ileana leaving you, of losing her. Why are you fearful of anything? Fear doesn't come from God. God didn't fear nothing. He went to the cross without fear. He asked God at the last hour when he went to the Garden of Prayer and said, if you would take this cup from me, nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. Because he knew that the price of that one lost soul was more than worth goodbye. And if redemption could pay it all, only his blood was going to satisfy. So he did what he had to do. Are you willing? Are you willing to die for every one of those people you're down there for? You say it with your mouth. But when you got beat up in that van, that was something altogether different, bro. I want to know. And then, if Babylon is so bad, and the Babylonian lifestyle is so overrated or whatever, why do you depend on the Babylonian dollars? Why are you on your live connected by technology to this Babylonian world, and you're with your PayPal and your Cash App for people to send you money for you to make it because you and your followers ain't working? Now, I can see the women being at home, but why the brothers ain't working? Why you not working? Work that field. Plant your own food. Work that ground. All I ever see them working is their fingers on a computer or a phone. That's it. I can see the women making earrings and clothes and food and this and the babies. I don't see the men doing anything. What kind of society are you grooming? Mm-mm. And even in biblical times, as I said before, the men worked by the sweat of their brow, the arch of their backs, the strength of their thighs. They provided for their families. I don't see you doing anything but swinging on women, spitting in their faces and telling them what to do, and recruiting more, and then sitting down having unprotected sex with them, spreading your germs, and manipulating these women. What are you going to do when these kids start dying off? What are they going to do when you die? Who's going to carry your mantle? And what gospel are they going to preach? Because you can't preach the gospel of Christ. And you just said you aren't going to die. When you're wasting away in front of thin air. Think about this, y'all. Think about it. Ask God to lead you. And if you're looking, you're searching for something, try Jesus. Try the real Jesus. Try God. Go to therapy. Get counseling. Do something. But don't give up. Anybody that encourages you to turn away from your loved one and your families, that's not the way to be. I love you on purpose. Ain't nothing you can do about it. This is Sis-Lo.